What's up, everybody? Eric here. Welcome to a very special edition of the Daily Feed. In this video, we're going to be going over Ezra Miller and their troubled timeline. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I've been covering The Flash on my channel for almost a decade, the TV show The Flash. And so I'm a huge fan of the Flash character from the comics and the TV show. And so with this upcoming Flash movie it's coming out right around the corner. We know that Ezra Miller is the lead in the film, but there's a lot of missing context on why Ezra isn't doing interviews, why, they're not showing up for certain events. And other people from the film, like Sasha and Michael and Ben, are all sort of promoting and saying stuff about the movie, but Ezra is not. And when I do live streams and I talk about The Flash, one of the most common questions I get when I talk about Ezra and, the controversy surrounding them is, what did Ezra do? That's typically almost every single time, every video I make, every stream I do. And it's just so much on that timeline of what's happened with Ezra that I can't answer that every single time I do a live. It's a lot. So I thought I would take a second and do a video where I go over, and I've tried to compile everything that I can remember. And I've got a couple articles I'm gonna be reading from here that have the information of why Ezra's controversy is so polarizing to the fandom, and why a lot of people have an issue with supporting the movie and Ezra because of these allegations and, in some cases, proof of things happening. So we're going to go over that in this video. I do want to put out a general trigger warning. Some of these stories, I'm going to have to be very careful about the way I cover them for YouTube because some of the language for the stories and things that happened would get the video suppressed. And I don't want that to happen because I know a lot of people wanted to know, what did Ezra do? So this is their troubled timeline. Let's start out with the first thing here. The first one goes all the way back to 2011, and it's Ezra Miller was charged with marijuana possession. And this was just before their breakout role in Perks of Being a Wallflower. And Ezra was arrested and charged with marijuana possession on June 22nd, 2011, with the police report saying that the actor was holding a brown vegetable material during a routine traffic stop. However, that July, the publication reported that, or TMZ reported, that the New Jersey judge agreed to dismiss the possession charge, issuing 2 disorderly conduct citations. Here's the deal. I'm not trying to judge anybody for something like, having a little weed. So we're going to just go, all right, this was the first one in the list that I could find. So let's move on to the next one here. This is the next set of situations with Ezra. So April 2020, Ezra Miller appears to choke a woman outside of a club/bar. So this was again in April 2020. There was a video that surfaced of Miller appearing to choke a woman at a bar in Iceland. And a source later confirmed to Variety that the incident was a serious altercation at a bar and that Miller was escorted off the premises as a result. Now, 2 years after the incident, the woman from the clip shared her side of the story with Variety, saying that her banter with the actor, which was about getting into a fight, was meant to be a quote-unquote joke. But their friend continued to antagonize the situation. And when he told Miller that he heard the actor didn't want to fight, that sort of aggravated stuff. And they said the quote was, "My friend didn't have to say that. It was just a joke, obviously," but Ezra took that literally and got super mad and came running outside. So that's all I could find following up that situation. That's the one that sort of just like disappeared. And a lot of the fans do remember that, but it was something that, as far as the media goes, it kind of just vanished and hasn't really gone anywhere. But yeah, so this was like the first big one that I think a lot of people were talking about when it comes to Ezra, was this incident in April of 2020. Now let's move over here to January 2022. So quite a bit of time went by there. And Ezra Miller delivers a cryptic message to the Klan. We're going to say that to avoid any kind of suppression here on YouTube. A since deleted Instagram video posted on January 27th, Miller appeared to threaten members of the Klan chapter in North Carolina. "Look, if y'all want to unalive, I suggest just unaliving yourselves with your own guns, okay?" Miller said in the video, according to Hollywood Reporter. "Otherwise, keep doing exactly what you're doing right now. And if you know what I'm talking about, then we'll do it for you if that's really what you want. Talk to you soon. Okay, bye." And then along with the video, Miller reportedly wrote in the caption, "Please disseminate this video to all those who it may concern. This is not a joke. And even though I do recognize myself to be a clown, please trust me and take this seriously. Let's save some lives now. Okay. Love you." Like, whoa. I guess that was the actual bit in the quote, because it's gone now. But this was one where people started to wonder if Ezra was okay, because it seemed just kind of out of nowhere. I mean, look, I don't disagree with the sentiment that the Klan's obviously a problem. And I think most people would agree, but just the way this video happened was a little, just, I guess, out of the ordinary for Ezra. So there we go with that one. The next was in March 2022. And this was Miller's charged with disorderly conduct and harassment. On March 28th, Miller was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and harassment over an alleged involvement in two separate incidents that happened at a karaoke bar in Hawaii. According to a news release from the Hawaii Police Department, officers responded to an unnamed bar on Silva Street in Hilo, or Hiho, I'm not sure, I've heard it said both ways, on March 27th at around 11:30 p.m. After reports of disorderly conduct, police say that the actor got agitated by people singing karaoke at the bar and then started to use derogatory language. Miller began yelling obscenities at one point and grabbed the microphone from a woman singing karaoke, and later, I guess, lunged at a 32-year-old man playing darts. The woman was 23. The bar owner asked Miller to calm down several times. That April, the actor pleaded no contest to disorderly conduct charge in court via a Zoom call, after which the judge sentenced Miller with a $500 fine. I mean, when you're celebrity, that's not much. The judge also dismissed 2 additional counts against Miller with prejudice, including a harassment charge from the same incident that a separate traffic obstruction related complaint. All right, this was also March 2022. Ezra Miller gets a restraining order filed against them. On March 29th, 2 Hilo residents filed for a temporary restraining order against Miller, claiming that Miller harassed and threatened them, according to a court document obtained by People. The complaint alleged that Miller burst into the bedroom of the petitioners and threatened an alleged male victim by saying, "I will bury you and your slut wife." I don't know if that's going to get the video suppressed or not. The document also claimed that Miller stole some of the alleged victims' personal belongings, including a social security card, wallet, passport, driver's license, and bank cards. 2 weeks later, the restraining order case was dismissed by a judge per the couple's request, as reported by the Associated Press. So the couple themselves just decided to dismiss, or to do away with, the restraining order. That was another one that just kind of vanished. And I think a lot of people were wondering, is anything going to ever happen with this? Is this going to be a situation that's going to get resolved? But it's gone now. So as far as we know, nothing more from that. All right, let's move up to April 2022. So April 2022, Ezra Miller is arrested on a second-degree assault charge. So Miller's legal trouble continued as the actor was arrested and charged with second-degree assault on April 19th after being found during a traffic stop at the intersection of Highway 130 and Kukula Street. Keanuau, I really butchered that. I tried to throw that one up. I really butchered that. Hawaii, per police. During the course of their investigation, police determined that the individual, later identified as Ezra Miller, became irate after being asked to leave and reportedly threw a chair, striking a woman on the forehead, resulting in an approximate half-inch cut. And that was released from the Hawaii Police Department. And that was on April 2022. And I don't think that one's gone anywhere either. There's not a lot about that one. I did a little bit digging on that one because I was like, is that the end of the story? And it seems like that's it. Nothing else seemed to come from that one either. Like the Hawaii situation was like an anomaly. We're going to move on from Hawaii from here. I think that's the last bit of the Hawaii story, the Hawaii saga, I guess, with Ezra. Wasn't a lot out of that. It was more or less just a bunch of little incidents that happened that seemed like things were spiraling, and then just Ezra was gone from Hawaii after that. So I don't think there was any follow-up to that as far as I know. Again, I tried to make this list as comprehensive as possible with what information I have. All right, there's another trigger warning for this one. This one is a little gets a little heavy, so just fair warning with that. June 2022, Ezra Miller is accused, and I want to say a lot of these are allegations or accusations, of grooming. According to the court documents filed on June 7th in Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Court and obtained by People, attorney and activist Chase Iron Eyes and his pediatrician wife, Sarah Jumping Eagle, claimed that Miller had been manipulating and controlling their daughter, Dakota Iron Eyes, who uses she, they pronouns and goes by Gibson, since the two met at Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota back in 2016. So Ezra met Gibson back in 2016, completely separate from what this story is leading up to. So just know that this has been a while since this has been going on. The parents claim that Miller groomed their child from the age of 12 after taking an immediate and apparently innocent liking to them, adding that Miller exhibited a pattern of corrupting a minor, allegedly drugging their over the years and displaying cult-like and psychological manipulative controlling behavior. Gibson later issued a statement on Instagram downplaying her parents' concerns and sharing that Miller has only provided loving support and invaluable protection. And that was a video. I saw that and I thought that was a little odd the way that video happened. It seemed like Gibson was looking off to the side while making the video. And so I don't know, it felt a little weird to me as a viewer. Going to say, I'm now aware of the severity and emotional and psychological manipulation I was made to endure while in my parents' home. I'm adult and deserve to feel authority on my own body. Chase and Sarah told People their child doesn't have a phone and doubt whether they wrote the statement. And I want to add here, there is an entire article that I can't find anymore. I don't know what happened to it. It's like it completely disappeared. An article that came out from the Native American community and the reservation where the family lives that detailed the entire story, with tons of history and evidence on it. That's gone as far as I can tell. If somebody else knows where that is, you can leave it in the comments, but I could not find it. So I'm assuming that it's gone now somehow. Anyway, June 2022, another parent comes forward with allegations against Ezra Miller. Shortly after Chase Iron Eyes and Sarah Jumping Eagles court filing, another parent sought legal action following an incident with Miller. According to the Daily Beast, a mother from Greenfield, Massachusetts, and her child, now 12, were granted a temporary harassment prevention order against Miller after they alleged that the actor menaced their family one evening in their downstairs neighbor's home and acted inappropriately toward the minor. The actor deactivated their Instagram account shortly after the temporary harassment prevention order was granted. So that was after both of these stories came out, was when Ezra, I think, temporarily took down their Instagram. So those are that story, those particular stories are probably the most insidious ones. Those are the ones that people, I think, ultimately have the biggest problem with when it comes to Ezra, are the stories here. I'm sorry, you can't see the date there, are these stories. And it's hard to gauge what actually happened because, again, I'm telling you, I think I've done it in a video where I talked about the full article from the family and everything they said, about this. That's kind of vanished. I can't seem to find it anymore. I wish I would have saved it, bookmarked it or something. Anyway, yeah. So these are probably the most serious when it comes to the allegations here. All right. Let's move to August 2022. Ezra Miller is accused of burglary. In August, Miller was accused of burglarizing a home in Vermont where they allegedly stole several bottles of alcohol per release from Vermont State Police. After looking at surveillance footage and taking statements, police said they had probable cause to charge Miller with the offense of felony burglary into an unoccupied dwelling. The actor was later summoned to attend a court hearing in Vermont Superior Court in Bennington Criminal Division on September 26. Also, August 2022, Vermont State Police tried to serve an emergency care order to a mother staying at Ezra Miller's home. Following previous reports in June that Miller was housing a 25-year-old woman with 3 kids at the actor's Vermont farm, Vermont State Police tried to serve an emergency care order to the woman in August, requiring the kids to be taken away from the home and her care. Miller, however, told them the mother and a child left 2 months ago and hadn't been back since. In court documents viewed by the publication, the Vermont State Attorney's Office reportedly said Miller's response could be to evade the emergency care order and that the information about them being gone that long contradicts information they had. And then also in August 2022, Ezra Miller reveals they're seeking treatment for complex mental health issues. Now, I remember this coming out And on August 15th, Miller publicly addressed their recent troubling behavior in a statement to People. Having recently gone through a time of crisis, I now understand that I'm suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I've alarmed and upset with the past behavior. I'm committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in life, the actor added. And so, yeah, that was kind of the wrap up to the saga, like in terms of like the ongoing major things that happened. I want to follow up here that I don't think there's been any, I hate to say this because I don't want to just seem like I'm not taking it seriously, I guess. I don't think there's been any proof of any actual work being done that I've seen to course correct. Now, it could be going on behind the scenes, but we haven't seen anything so far. So I don't know. I'm not totally sure. All right, let's move on to the next portion here. October 17th, 2022, Ezra Miller pleads not guilty to burglary charges in Vermont. The actor appeared via video in Bennington courtroom or an arraignment surrounding the August incident, in which they faced charges after allegedly taking alcohol from a man's house in Stamford. During the brief hearing, Miller's attorney entered a not guilty plea on their behalf to a one felony count of burglary in an unoccupied dwelling, as well as a second minor charge of petty larceny. And so that was when that happened. And then we have January 2023. Ezra Miller pleads guilty to misdemeanor and 1 year probation. And Miller and their lawyer attended a hearing in person at Vermont's Bennington County Superior Court, where Judge Carrie Ann McDonald Cady reviewed the terms of change of plea agreement and sentencing. They pleaded guilty to a lesser charge in an agreement with the prosecutors to drop 2 charges, including felony burglary and petty larceny, which were dismissed without prejudice, meaning the case is closed if the year-long probation is not violated. Rather than pursue a jury trial, Miller opted to plead guilty to misdemeanor unlawful trespass, admitting they were on the victim's property May 1st, 2022 in Stamford, Vermont, without the owner's permission. And that's pretty much it. So now we're in a situation where Ezra they're on probation, and if something were to happen, they could end up back in court. But that's the only major case that has happened with Ezra, is the one that we just discussed. All of the other big ones seem to have just sort of vanished, which is why the general public feels a certain kind of way about Ezra when it comes to all of this. So that to me was the most comprehensive timeline of events. I might have missed a few small things here and there, but I think I covered the majority of them. So you can see why, if you've been in my live streams and you ask me, what did Ezra do? I've been like, there's so much to talk about. It's really hard to go over it and answer it in one quick response. So there's your timeline. And hopefully this answers some questions, because the movie's coming out very soon. And unless something major happens, those are all the things that have happened up until the movie's release. So I guess you as a individual have to determine whether or not you want to go out and support the movie because of the other talent involved, like Michael Keaton and Sasha Calle and all the people that put the movie together, Andy Muschietti. Or you have to decide if you're just not going to go see it because you can't, you don't like the stories here and you're like, I can't go do it. You're going to have to determine that for yourself. And I know some people are going to be like, I'm not going to do it. I get it. I respect it. I totally understand. And some people are going to go see it, and that's fine with me too. I don't really have an issue with whatever an individual person decides to do. Either way, it's going to be interesting after this movie comes out, what the public perception of Ezra is, and whether or not Hollywood is willing to move on from all of those things. Because as far as I can tell, a lot of them did not get any major coverage. A couple of them did, but for the most part, a lot of them did not. So we'll see. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about any of this in the comments below, and whether or not you're going to be going and checking out the Flash movie. Yes or no? I'd love to hear from you. All right, if you enjoy content like this, make sure you hit subscribe, become part of the Airrickverse. Leave a like on this video, and definitely leave your thoughts and opinions down below. That's it. I'll see everyone later.